In the heart of Los Angeles, behind every red carpet, behind every perfect Instagram smile, lies a web of power, money, and manipulation that most people will never see. They call them the gatekeepers, not actors, not directors, not the influencers you scroll past every day, but the shadowy executives, lawyers, financiers, and PR puppeteers who shape every headline, every career, and every downfall in Hollywood. Let's begin where every real story starts, not on the screen, but in a room with no cameras allowed. Scene: a private dinner, Beverly Hills, California. Inside, a glass-walled penthouse overlooking the city. Four men sit at a long marble table. Vincent Morelli, CEO of Orbis Entertainment Group, early 60s, slick gray hair, black Tom Ford suit, no tie. A cigar rests untouched beside a glass of scotch. Raymond Lasker, top Hollywood fixer, late 50s, bald, goatee, wearing a navy Hugo Boss blazer with turtleneck, Rolex glinting under the dim lights. Darren Cole, a rising media tycoon, 40s, tall, muscular build, black Ralph Lauren tux with open collar, face expressionless. Ethan Shaw, ex-CIA turned studio consultant, late 40s, lean, precise, wearing charcoal gray Zegna suit with black gloves and no smile. They aren't just discussing the weekend box office. They're dissecting reputations and deciding who stays in the spotlight and who disappears. Vincent takes a sip of scotch. The scandal with Cassidy Stone is manageable, he says, referring to a young A-list actress whose leaked photos have flooded Twitter. The leak wasn't random, Ethan replies coldly. It was engineered. Raymond smiles faintly. I made the call. No shock. No outrage. Just cold, strategic nods. They're playing chess with real lives as pawns. Rewind 48 hours earlier. Cassidy Stone, 28. America's sweetheart. She had just secured a $20 million deal for a psychological thriller, but her sudden independence, her refusal to sign with Vincent's agency, had made her a problem, so they solved it. The photo's real, but planted the captions, twisted the narrative manufactured in Raymond's crisis PR lab. Within hours, TMZ ran it, then Variety, then TikTok exploded. And Cassidy. She canceled her appearances. Her stock tanked. And guess who came offering help the next morning? Vincent Morelli, with open arms and a new contract. Scene: PR control room downtown. Raymond Lasker sits behind a 6-monitor desk, a command center of influence. He has tabs on trending hashtags, Reddit threads, podcast mentions. We don't just manage crises, he says, chewing on gum. We create them. Then we sell the antidote. He's not joking. In the last year alone, he's buried 5 celebrity scandals, launched 3 comeback tours, and engineered 2 fake dating relationships for PR. It's not about truth. It's about controlling the story. Scene: Malibu mansion. Ethan's watch. Ethan Shaw isn't a public figure, but he knows every security camera blind spot on the Pacific Coast Highway. He meets with the tech billionaire turned producer whose wife just discovered he's funding illegal offshore productions in Thailand. Don't panic, Ethan says. What she knows won't matter once her therapist's office has a break-in and the files are ... gone. This isn't paranoia, it's protocol. The elite have 2 sets of rules, the ones the public sees and the ones they live by. But what happens when the gatekeepers turn on each other? Darren Cole, the media tycoon, is new blood. And unlike the others, he doesn't want a seat at the table. He wants the whole table. He's launched a new app, Stage, a streaming platform designed to bypass every agency, every middleman, every gatekeeper, and it's working. Actors are signing on directly, studios are losing leverage, and Vincent he thinks he can rewrite the rules. Vincent tells Raymond, let's see how he handles what's coming. Behind the scenes, an internal war is brewing. Old Hollywood versus new power. But the public, they only see the red carpets, the smiles, the fake apologies. Behind every fall, a deal back to Cassidy Stone. After days in hiding, she returns, with a statement, a tearful Instagram live, a public apology. But the truth, she signed a new deal under Vincent's umbrella. Same money, less freedom, and now she's controllable. Welcome back. Raymond texts her publicist. Let's remind the public she's still America's sweetheart. And just like that, she's trending again. Not for the scandal, but for her strength. Because in Hollywood, image is currency. And the gatekeepers, they are the Federal Reserve. In the city of fame, where stars are born and destroyed like seconds on a ticking clock, something dangerous is spreading. Not a scandal, not a leak, but a disruption, and it's got every traditional power player in Hollywood sweating. His name, Darren Cole. The media has been calling him the disruptor, but inside the glass towers of Century City, they're calling him something else, the virus. Because what he's building, it isn't just an app, it's a weapon. Introducing SDH. No agents, no managers, no press junkets, no Hollywood handshake deals, just raw, unfiltered, direct-to-fan content created by celebrities, distributed by themselves, and monetized without middlemen. Actors can stream their films. Musicians can drop exclusive tracks. Even influencers can sell behind-the-scenes footage. merch, or direct messages, all within the platform. A platform Darren built with data, not dreams. Hollywood is a cartel, Darren once said in a leaked investor call, and I don't ask permission from cartels. Scene, Stage HQ, downtown Lathe office is sleek. Dark marble floors, matte black walls. A giant LED display showing real-time subscriber counts, ticking up like a live stock market. Darren stands in the war room. Same look as before, black, Ralph Lauren, tuxedo. No tie, clean, emotionless face. Jaw sharp as the skyline. Surrounding him are data scientists, AI engineers, and former Netflix strategists. He doesn't hire from Hollywood. He hires from Silicon Valley in military intelligence. And that's why he's winning. But Stage didn't start with power. It started with revenge. Flashback. 2018, Darren was a producer on a film starring a rising black actor and a female director. It was bold, raw, independent, and studios laughed it out of the room. He mortgaged everything to distribute it himself. And when it exploded at Sundance, a major agency tried to steal the credit and the profits. They failed. But Darren never forgot. I'll build something they can't buy, he told his lawyer. Something they'll beg to destroy, but won't be able to. Scene, a new power circle. Darren isn't alone anymore. He's recruiting actors. Quietly, but not just any actors. The outcasts, the rebels, the ones labeled difficult, and leading the wave. Cassidy Stone. Yes, the same actress who was buried in Scandal in Part 1, she's signed with Vincent Morelli again. But she's also secretly filming a docuseries on Stage about how public narratives are engineered. What if I told my real story, she says into the camera. What if I burned the mask? Scene, Vincent reacts. Orbis Tower, 48th floor. Vincent Morelli sits in a leather chair with city lights behind him, his face stone cold. The leaked trailer of Cassidy's docuseries has gone viral, minus 11 million views in 4 hours. This isn't rebellion, Vincent mutters, it's treason. Ethan Shaw, standing beside him in the same charcoal Zigna suit with black gloves, speaks flatly. We have options. The attack begins within 24 hours. A fabricated lawsuit surfaces claiming Cassidy owes $6 million to a past sponsor. Anonymous Twitter threads accuse Stage of trafficking user data. A tech journalist is paid to publish a deep dive into Darren's past business failures. All orchestrated, all funded by the old regime. Raymond Lasker, the fixer, leans back in his PR bunker. Panic is a story, he says. Let's give them a story. But Darren doesn't panic. Instead, he leaks documents, real ones, about how Hollywood agencies suppress actors. Earnings through ghost clauses. Within 48 hours, SAG union members are protesting outside agency offices. Old Hollywood isn't just under threat, it's cracking from within. Ethan's counterpart Ethan Shaw flies to Dubai under an alias. His mission? Recruit an exiled crypto mogul who controls 12% of Stage's tech stack funding. Ethan knows one thing. Money is the spine of revolution. Cut the money, and Stage dies. But what Ethan doesn't know, that mogul is already playing both sides. He's seen where the world is going, and he bets on disruption, not tradition. Cassidy goes live, unfiltered in a raw live stream on Stage. Cassidy reveals her team's inbox was flooded with fake lawsuits after she declined a studio offer. Her therapist's office was broken into. And yes, the leaked photos from Part 1 were real, but stolen under orders. This is war, she says, voice steady, and I'm done being the product. The internet explodes. #Stage Revolution trends worldwide. Millions of Gen Z users flood the platform, and Darren doesn't celebrate. He prepares. They'll try to destroy us from the inside next. Darren says to his core team, start background checks on everyone, even me. Seen Vincent's next move back at Orbis Entertainment. Vincent stands facing the LA skyline, hands folded behind his back. They've grown too loud, he says. Time to remind them who owns the stage. He turns to Ethan and Raymond. Activate protocol eclipse. Raymond raises an eyebrow. That was for national level crises. This is one, because the real battle has never been fame versus obscurity. It's control versus freedom. And the war for the future of Hollywood has officially begun. You've heard of cancel culture, you've heard of PR spin, you've even heard of media manipulation. But what you haven't heard of, what no one talks about, is something far more dangerous. Protocol eclipse. A silent weapon buried deep inside the vaults of old Hollywood, not for controlling stars, not for defending scandals, but for wiping people out. Careers, reputations, records, all gone, as if they never existed. See in a dark room, Orbis Command Midnight. The Orbis Entertainment Tower is quiet on the outside, but deep beneath the lobby, in a locked sub-chamber, the old regime meets again. Vincent Morelli, as always, dressed sharp in his black Tom Ford suit, face grim. Ethan Shaw, precise as ever, in his charcoal Zigna suit and black gloves, stands beside him. Raymond Lasker, typing rapidly on a laptop, teeth clenched. A wall-sized screen flashes the Stage platform dashboard. Subscriber count, 83 million. They're not just making noise anymore, Vincent mutters. They're building an empire. Ethan nods. We shut it down. Permanently, Vincent turns. Begin protocol eclipse. What is protocol eclipse? Not a hack, not a takedown. It's a full-spectrum media blackout system, developed in the early 2000s by a joint task force of PR moguls, ex-Intel officers, and major studio execs. It was never supposed to be used. It was a last resort, for when the system itself was under threat. It works in 3 waves: digital erosion, remove, distort, or flood search engines with fake stories to bury real ones. Social collapse, turn influencers, journalists, and bots against the target in unison. Personal isolation, destroy inner circles, friends, family, employers, through targeted misinformation. Once protocol eclipse is activated, the subject becomes radioactive. No one dares associate, no one dares defend, target. Cassidy, stonewall her, because she's the face of the rebellion, and worse, she's beloved. Break her, and you break Stage's heart. Raymond says coldly. Ethan loads a drive. Inside, 15,000 files, real and fake, ready for deployment. Some contain private texts. Some are AI-generated footage. Some are just rumors designed to multiply. The goal is not to destroy Cassidy's truth. It's to bury it under a million lies. Scene. A sudden shift the next morning. Cassidy wakes up in her Hollywood Hills apartment. She picks up her phone. 70 missed calls. Hundreds of DMIs. Thousands of tweets. Something's wrong. Headlines across the internet scream. Cassidy Stone accused of onset. Abuse by 5 crew members. Leaked voice note reveals Cassidy mocking fans, insider says. Cassidy threatens suicide for publicity. Fake. All of it, but convincing. Even her closest friends start ghosting her. Her stylist cancels. Her makeup artist needs space. And worst of all, Stage doesn't respond. Because their servers are being bombarded by fake legal notices, lawsuits, and content strikes. Scene, inside Stage HQ. Darren Cole watches it unfold on the screens. Same calm face, same black Ralph Lauren tux, but inside rage. This isn't social media, this is war. His lead engineer speaks. We're being hit from 30 vectors at once. AI smear content, Reddit bot farms, DNS, slowdowns. Even our investors are pulling back. It's Eclipse, Darren says. I read about it years ago. Buried in some leak, now it's real. And it's aimed at everything he built. Ethan moves in while Stage drowns in misinformation. Ethan Shaw travels to Atlanta under a false identity. He visits Cassidy's old drama school, interviews her childhood friends, digs up unrelated incidents, and twists them into weaponized narratives. He even leaves anonymous tips to reporters, ones that sound too credible to ignore. This isn't about Cassidy, Ethan tells an informant. This is about burning the idea that truth matters. Because if the public can't tell what's real anymore, they stop trusting everyone. And that's when the gatekeepers win. Again, Raymond's social waverman Lasker activates Phase 250. Influencers paid to say they felt uncomfortable around Cassidy. Podcasts mysteriously upload unreleased episodes talking about her behavior. Twitter bots create 20,000 retweets per hour, flooding hashtags. We don't need facts, Raymond tells his team. We need momentum, and it works. By midnight, Cassidy is no longer trending as a whistleblower. She's trending as a villain. Cassidy breaks, then strikes back 3 days later. Cassidy sits alone. She hasn't spoken to Darren. Her agents dropped her. Even her own fans are divided, but she's not broken. She walks to her desk, turns on her private camera, and begins filming. You want to know who I really am? She says. Then watch me fight back, and watch what they try to do next. She uploads a 12-minute raw documentary titled, I'm Not the Villain, You Just Haven't Seen Who Is. And in it, she names names. Vincent Morelli, Raymond Lasker, Ethan Shaw. Protocol, Eclipse. She even leaks screenshots and documents she had secretly copied while inside Orbis. Stage immediately republishes the video, and Darren pushes it globally. The public reacts, millions watch. Celebrities start reposting. Journalists hesitate, but then start digging in what they find. Proof not just against Orbis, but against a system, a legacy of weaponized reputation. Warfare used on hundreds of stars over decades. Scene, panic at Orbis. In his penthouse, stares at the screen in silence. For the first time, he doesn't speak. Ethan looks down at his gloves. Raymond types frantically, deleting old files. But it's too late. The story has escaped containment. But this isn't a win. Yet because Protocol Eclipse has a final phase, and it doesn't target Cassidy, or Darren, or even Stage, it targets the entire internet. Activate the global narrative suppressor, Vincent orders. Take their voice offline, because when truth becomes contagious, the old gods try to turn off the world. For decades, Orbis Entertainment stood untouchable, a towering fortress of power and manipulation. They created stars. They destroyed them. They rewrote reality like a script. But no empire lives forever, and this one is beginning to bleed. Global fallout begins. Cassidy Stone's video, I'm Not the Villain, did more than just trend. It shattered the illusion. Within hours, it had 48 million views, 300,000 shares. by verified accounts, and more importantly, it sparked fear inside studios. Top execs began deleting old emails. Agencies halted internal meetings, and journalists, who once whispered, now spoke out loud, because the world had proof that Hollywood's elite had been scripting lives, burying scandals, and blacklisting rebellion. Scene: Orbis Tower, under siege. Morelli watches the chaos unfold from his penthouse, still dressed sharp in his black Tom Ford suit. But now, with a whiskey bottle half empty on the table, Ethan Shaw stands beside him, arms folded in his charcoal Zagna suit with black gloves, face tight. Raymond Lasker is on call after call. Desperate? "We've lost 6 clients today," Raymond says, "and 3 investors just froze all outgoing funds." Vincent doesn't blink. "That's not a fall, that's turbulence." But Ethan disagrees. "The system's not crashing. It's mutating, and we're the virus now." The collapse is not just reputational, it's financial. In 1 week, Orbis stock drops 47%. Advertisers flee, top talent walks ST. In contrast, its 100 million subscribers, and rising. Darren Cole sits in his war room. Same expressionless stare. Same black Ralph Lauren tuxedo, watching the numbers roll. But he's not celebrating, because he knows the beast isn't dead until it rots. The secret file. Eclipse Alpha. Cassidy's leak included something unexpected, a folder named Eclipse Alpha. Inside, decades of internal blackmail files, surveillance footage, manipulated audio, NDAs, extortion records. Evidence. And the world sees it. Some highlights. A beloved Oscar-winning actor exposed for a scandal that never actually happened. Just simulated images. A foreign diplomat's affair used to force investment in a film studio. A child actor's career deliberately derailed after refusing a deal. Suddenly, it's not just a scandal, it's a crime scene. Live congressional hearing. A week later, the U.S. Senate hosts a special hearing on digital reputation warfare in entertainment. Darren Cole is called to testify. He walks in. Same black Ralph Lauren tux, accompanied by Cassidy Stone, dressed boldly in her dark green leather jacket and black dress, unapologetic. The public watches live. Orbis didn't just manage image, Darren tells the room. They built a prison, and the walls were made of silence. Cassidy leans in. Every time someone was silenced, 100 more watched, and learned to obey. Until now. Ethan makes a move while the world watches the hearings. Ethan Shaw disappears. Not a trace. He wipes his tracks, deletes files, burns contacts because he knows what's coming next. Federal indictments, but Ethan has a plan. Not to run, but to restart. He contacts an ex-intelligence contact overseas, a black site data farm in Eastern Europe. The plan? Create a counter platform, one powered by deepfakes, misinformation, AI, and psychological warfare. If truth is the new weapon, Ethan says, we just need better lies. But he'll need money, and for that, he'll have to go rogue. Raymond's fall. Raymond Lasker, the fixer, the man behind so many ruined lives, is finally exposed. An ex-assistant leaks video footage showing Raymond laughing while staging celebrity breakups, planting rehab rumors, and scripting fake overdose alerts. TMZ runs it. Then CNN. Then everyone. He goes into hiding. But not before posting a final message. You all wanted fantasy. I just gave you what you paid for. Don't pretend you wanted truth. He vanishes into the shadows, and the world moves on without him. Vincent breaks back in Orbis Tower. Vincent stands alone. The office is empty. The screens are off. The silence is loud. He opens an old drawer, pulls out a file marked The Originals. It's a list of the first celebrities he ever managed. Every one of them, broken. He looks at a photo of himself from the 80s. Young, hungry, ruthless. I built the dream, he whispers. And now, I sleep in the nightmare. Scene. The revolution marched outside the Orbis Tower. A protest begins. Actors, creators, fans, all carrying signs. We are not products. Down with Eclipse. Truth can't be silenced. And leading the march, Cassidy and Darren. She speaks to the crowd. They had the money, they had the power, but they never had the people. Darren raises the stage logo on a flag. For the first time, he smiles. But it's not over. Because far away, in a cold server room overseas, Ethan Shaw is building something darker. A platform that doesn't just manipulate fame, it reprograms perception, and the war for Hollywood's soul is about to go global. So this is where we are. Old Hollywood cracked open like a fossil, the secrets spilled, the monsters exposed. But the war was never just about ending something. It was about what comes next, and what comes next. Maybe even more dangerous. Scene. The birth of New Hollywood Day month after Orbis fell. The world is different. Stage has crossed 130 million users. Cassidy Stone is producing a new series, The Architect Files, exposing behind-the-scenes power brokers. Darren Cole is being called the Lincoln of entertainment by Variety. The gatekeepers are gone, but people have the mic. But the question now isn't who's in charge, it's what will they do with it. Scene. Stage Summit, San Francisco. A massive convention. Tech elites, creators, fans. Darren stands on the main stage in front of 25,000 people, still in his signature black Ralph Lauren tuxedo, but now with a small gold stage pin on his lapel. "We've broken the chains," he says. "Now we build the stage." Cheers erupt. Cassidy joins him on stage, wearing her dark green leather jacket and black dress, but this time, no fear in her eyes. "No one owns your story anymore," she says, "so make it count." It feels like a revolution, but in the shadows. The next empire is loading. Scene. DeepNet platform, Eclipse. Globa Lathan Shah isn't dead. He's evolved. From a private bunker in Eastern Europe, he stares at a black screen, one glowing word. Eclipsea new platform. Not legal, not public, but powerful. Here's what it does. Deepfake networks replace any influencer's face, voice, and story in real time. Shadow influence campaigns use psychometrics to manipulate entire demographics into shifting ideologies. Narrative overwrites simulate news events that never happened and make them trend within minutes. It's not just a media tool, it's a weapon of belief. "You wanted a world without gatekeepers," Ethan whispers. "Let's see what happens when everyone becomes one." Scene. The world reacts soon. Strange things start happening. A video of Cassidy admitting her story was fake goes viral, but it's AI generated. Darren's voice is cloned into a podcast where he endorses censorship. STAGE's platform is flooded with manipulated content, hard to detect, harder to stop, and worse. A new generation of creators start using Eclipse tools, willingly, because the power to bend reality is intoxicating. Scene. Stage boardroom. Sits with his team, exhausted but sharp. Cassidy is present, eyes locked on the screen. "We tore down the illusion," Cassidy says, "but someone rebuilt it faster and darker." "This isn't just about content anymore," Darren adds. "This is about truth itself." Scene. International Summit on Digital Ethics, Geneva. Darren, Cassidy, and digital philosophers gather with global leaders. It's no longer just a Hollywood issue, it's a worldwide information crisis. They propose a solution, the Mirror Protocol, a transparent ledger for all digital content origins, powered by blockchain and verified by independent eyes. It's radical, it's controversial, but it may be the only way forward. Meanwhile, Ethan's last move, knowing his identity, has been partially exposed. Ethan records a final video from the shadows. "You don't need me anymore," he says calmly, dressed as always in his charcoal Zegna suit with black gloves. "I just built the mirror, you chose to look into it." And then he vanishes. No signal, no trace. Just silence. Scene. Cassidy's final voice over her new docu-series. The Price of Freedom goes live. "The truth isn't free," her voice says over dramatic black and white clips. "It costs time, pain, and the willingness to be hated, but illusion, that's cheap, that's everywhere. And if we don't guard what's real, someone else will sell us what's fake." Cut to her walking down a red carpet. No handlers, no security, just her. And thousands cheering. Darren's closing act had a new stage studio in Los Angeles. Darren stares at a screen. The subscriber count rolls past 150 million. He types a message. No more silence, no more scripts. This time, the world writes its own story.